Hi everyone, how you going? This is a short addendum to the live I just did, transposed into the group. But this one's more like pilot and aviation enthusiast specific. So in the recording I just did that I'm going to put in the group shortly, I was talking about how one of these studies many years ago, there was like 1,000 people in the study, and it was to do with iterations of teaching to try and work out what's more appropriate in determining success. Okay, and so they had one group A and group B, like split down the middle, and the group A was told to make a particular type of pottery, like their own design, their own thing of pottery, but they're told to do as many thousands of hundreds as they could in a month. All right, and then come and show their last one at the end of the month. All right, and the other group was told to just focus on the one thing and make that perfect by the end of the month and present that. And the group that really did the best results, over like at all, was Group A, where they had hundreds of iterations each, and by the end of it, because they practiced failing, rebuilding, they had something really great at the end. And this is kind of a very similar approach to Samuel Pierpont Langley and versus the Wright brothers. Okay, now I'm not sure if you're aware of Samuel Pierpont Langley, but he was all the media and everyone thought he was the one that's going to get the thing of flight to work, because he had made the first heavier than air powered vehicle to fly in the late 1880s, I think it was, right? And because he had this, or 1890s, in the 1890s, he had a successful unmanned powered flight with a miniature steam engine on a thing to make it fly, and it flew like 900 yards, 900 meters, or something like that. Okay, and so the government funded, like gave him a grant and all this sort of stuff. The media followed him around, and he had this big team that he gathered. And whilst they tried to work on the one thing, right, what was happening on the other side of where the Wright brothers where they were taking all their spare parts out, all their bits and pieces, and just trying over and over and over and over again, right? They'd crash, they'd fall, they would work it out, they'd tinker, and then they'd try it again. But they'd practiced on a really nice little little flat ground kind of thing, a really nice place to learn and fail, right? And they just did that over and over and over again. They kept on rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding until they had something that works, right? When they got it working, they of course took the prize of their legacy was then built. So doing things differently to like a lot of people around you in your social circles and your family, they may tell you to not do this or not try this because they tried once, and then and it really hurt because they didn't like the idea of failing more than once, because school tries to teach you not to fail. You have to get the right answers straight away. When in actual fact in life, there's many right answers, and you can take your time in learning it, but you're always better off, of course, finding someone who's already learnt it and teaching you how to deal with trying, failing, falling, rebuilding, and doing it over and over again. So I thought I'd just give that aviation example to add on. In the other video that this is an addendum to, I covered a lot more in that regard. But you just need to know, like, you can either be fear of failure, or you can have a fear of regret, right? You're better off having a fear of regret, because if you're going to have a fear of regret, it's going to encourage you and push you and challenge you into challenging your other fears. Okay, so that when you get to the end of your life, you have as minimal regrets as possible, that you tried your best foot forward every step of the way. Because intrinsically we know right? Our gut feeling, our intuition, our subconscious, intrinsically we know whether or not we should regret not trying harder. Because we know whether or not we open that extra book. We know if we actually studied for the test. We know if we actually tried to get this thing right. Right? We can feel it within us, we know it within us, and it builds up a resentment that usually turns into something toxic, which turns into telling other people not to try as well, which is how those other people got to be who they are. And that's okay for them. If they don't want to change, that's up to them. Every single person in your entire life, including yourself, is doing the absolute best you can that day, or best they can that day. Even though sometimes their best they can that day sucks. That's all it is. That's what all these ups and downs in our relationships, in our social circles, our loved ones, and our families, that's what that is. Okay? Everyone is trying their absolute best, just sometimes their best sucks. Okay? So I thought I'd put the really good aviation example in here. I do love the fact that it's not going to be that much longer, and I'll be able to actually practice in a plane myself, and rather than just doing the study side of things. So really looking forward to that, and I will see you guys later in the week, and that video will be getting transplanted in here shortly. This is I'm trying not to repeat myself all that much. I'm trying to make extra special ones for you guys, and kind of like do a combination of transplanting the pioneering group one where I go a bit longer. And the only reason I'm going longer in those other groups is in the pioneering group is because, well, it's just one of those things. Anyway, catch you. Bye.